welcome back to my channel. Today we will be sewing up the Eldritch bag by Moose Fiber Co. My friend Savannah made the cutest little bowler bag you could ever imagine. It comes with tons of different applique for the front. It is domestic friendly if you use the right materials. Things I love about this bag. What don't I love about this bag? Here it is for size reference on me. We added fun piping on this version. I will have a video linked below of how I add piping to bags. In this bag, I have just added a slip pocket on one side and a zipper overlay on the other. Let's see if I can get a picture for you. Zipper overlay and a slip on this side. This is a great bag because it's a good staple for your collection. You can build off this bag and make all different kinds of shapes and appliques and options and add-ons for your customer or yourself. I used a chain strap on this one, and I do not show how to make a crossbody strap, but you can just make a basic crossbody strap. There are directions. I just made it simple and added a chain. This chain's from sewcialize. So are the purse feet and the zipper pulls. How cute is that? This is the Stay Metallic vinyl from Fabric Therapy. It should be coming soon. I was testing it. This was the last of my tester roll. The black underneath is shimmery. And that is from My Little Shindig. You can see on this one we add a 3D puffy effect with a reverse applique. I used 1/2 inch headliner foam on this. I wouldn't recommend it if you have a domestic machine, but if you have an industrial, you could do it. Next time I do it, I'll keep it out of my seam allowance because I had already added piping. But if you don't have piping, it would be fine to leave in the seam allowance, in my opinion. The bottom gusset also has foam with woven interfacing over, but this front panel is the only one that ends up having the 1/2 inch foam. It is quite a process to get it done. I will link a video below for my Instagram of me kind of fast sewing this. It took me about an hour just to do this front panel, but I hand cut everything. Cutting machines are an option if you have one. I just am probably one of the few that enjoys hand cutting, but I really can't wait to see what you make. Keep an eye on our group, Bag Making Besties, because Savannah will be releasing different front designs the entire month of August for our Summerween celebration. So go ahead and subscribe to her channel and like it. I've linked it below, and I've linked our group below, so please come and join us. Today I will be using a Juki 1181N. That's the machine I always use. I also used size 19 needle, and I used this size swag. It's my new favorite for a black thread. It's called Dark Spruce. This is a Tech 70 polyester bonded thread. It's my favorite. My favorite. Dark Spruce is the new black. I'm calling it. So if you are excited to make this bag like I am, let's go. Okay, let's go over the pieces we're going to need for the Eldritch. You're going to need an exterior panel. If you want to do any of the fun reverse appliques or any kind of fun embellishment on the front, do that first. I have also added piping to my Eldritch. This is an optional thing. I'll go ahead and link here a video that can be helpful to attach piping and create your own piping of any kind of vinyl you'd like. So I have 2 exterior pieces. I have 2 connector pieces for 1-inch hardware. I have my exterior bottom gusset and my interior bottom gusset. I have 2 exterior zipper panels along with 2 interior zipper panels. I have 2 interior main panels. And I created a slip pocket for mine. I like to have a slip pocket on my bags for my phone. This is 10.5 by 10, folded in half with the 10.5 inch side long ways. So it'll go right over like that. I'm also going to create a zipper overlay. I got this really cool printed zipper overlay. This is the 6-inch one from Jolili Creations. So it'll end up going right there like that on the inside of my bag. And to correspond with that, we have 2 8x5 pieces of zipper liner. So that will end up going right under there. Also, to coordinate with that, I have an 8-inch zipper. I like to leave a little extra for the sides. Also, 1 zipper pull. This is from sewcialize. I have my main zipper, which is the same tape. And I'm going to do a double pull on mine, so I have 2 pulls, the same type. I also have my 2 1-inch D-rings for my connectors for my crossbody strap, which is not pictured here. I'm going to cut it out of webbing, so that'll be the length that you like. I'm also going to add purse feet onto my Eldritch, and I'll give you the dimensions for that when we get there. Here's my bag tag, metal bag plate. And I'm still going to be attaching one side of my piping, so I have my piping and the casing for that. And I'm also going to have some 1-inch fold over elastic to bind with. This is also from sewcialize. Also, to speak about interfacing, so I put fusible foam on the bottom gusset. I fused it to the vinyl, and then I put a SewFuse Plus over the top of it. For the main panels, I have 1/2-inch headliner foam that I used. It's pretty thick, but I would probably keep something out of the seam allowances if you're going to do piping. If you're not doing piping, I personally like the look of foam in the seam allowance, so I would just cut the main pattern piece with the foam. Or alternatively, you could do the same thing that we did on the bottom gusset, where you put the foam fused out of the seam allowance and then put woven over the top of it. That gives a really nice look as well. So I'm still going to have to get a piece of foam for this side. I'm not going to use the 1/2-inch headliner foam like I used here. I just really like the effect, the 3D bubbly effect of using such thick foam on a reverse applique. So we're going to go ahead and just cut out of By Annie Soft and Stable a piece of foam. We're going to keep it in the seam allowance since we did here as well. I might be a glutton for punishment. We'll see how hard it is. I think it'll be pretty easy because we have our piping foot, so I don't think it'll be too hard, but we're going to go ahead and get a piece of foam that's the same size as our exterior. And for the zipper gussets, I have no interfacing on them. I'm going to be using 1/4-inch polyester boning. You can get this on Amazon. It's linked in my store below. It is an affiliate link, but I really like the way this looks as zipper gusset stabilizer. It gives it such a good shape. So we'll be using this to stabilize our zipper panels. If you wanted to, you could add some woven, but this is a thicker vinyl, so I don't think we need it. This vinyl is the Stay Metallic vinyl from Fabric Therapy. It is so smooth and luxurious. It doesn't show any bite marks from feet. It's great to sew with an industrial machine. I don't have experience sewing on this on a domestic, but if you join Fabric Therapy's group, they have a lot of tips and tricks for sewing with all the different vinyls by different strike sewists. So that's this. This is a Robert Kaufman fabric. It's the 2024 Halloween line that they came out with. These little skulls do glow in the dark, so that's really fun. I'll link that down below as well. And this vinyl I'm using is from My Little Shindig. It's like a glittery. This would be domestic friendly in my opinion. It does show bite marks with teeth, so I would use a smooth foot if you have an industrial, but I really just love the shimmer of it. You can see here I used it on the reverse applique, so I wanted to just tie that in. My piping is also that same black. Then here will be my stabilizer for the back panel. Also, note on the back panel, I'm not adding anything on my back panel, although I thought it would be really nice to have a slip pocket for your cell phone, or even a zippered pocket, which might not fit all cell phones, but I thought a slip pocket would be pretty nice. I didn't add one on this because I'm adding piping, and I just want to see how thick it's going to be, and if I think I could add a slip pocket on here on my next one, but that is an option. I would probably make it the same size as the interior slip pocket as well. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, so I think that's all the pieces we need. Let's go ahead and get sewing. Okay, we're going to go ahead and build completely our front and back panels. So that would be the inside and the outside. But this outside is already done, so I'm going to set that aside because we're going to base this to it in a minute. On this side, so it'll be the front. This is my front. On the opposite side, I want the slip pocket so that when I open the bag, I can just slip my phone right in. So go ahead and get your slip pocket piece. And I'm going to go ahead and top stitch down this folded edge. I just ironed it. This is just waterproof canvas. So what you're wanting to do is to make sure that your lining is pretty much all the way on the slip pocket, so that when we base this on, you can catch all of this. We're going to trim off all this excess here and here, and you know, on each of the four corners. But go ahead and slide it over and baste that down. I am going to back stitch. Okay, there you have it. Now we're going to go ahead and trim all of our overhang. Now at this point you could do it divided if you want, and I am not going to. Like I said, I just like my phone to just slide right in. So now we can baste this liner to the exterior. So we're just going to clip them together. Okay, we're going to go around at 1/8 of an inch and just baste these two together, and then our front panel will be totally complete. Okay, at this time you can trim any overhang you might have from your liners. Make everything nice and flush. It's really recommended it's flush against the piping, because the piping is going to matter when we do our final attachment. So go ahead and trim all that off now. Well, we're ready with the slip pocket. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to build our inner zipper pockets. So I got my zipper and my pole. Got a cute little woven tag. I know this says boo, but I'm still going to put this right here too, under it, you know, like that. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, and then we have our 2 zipper pocket liners and the actual interior liner. So we're going to go ahead and snip our centers. so we know where to put that. Okay. I'm gonna take my overlay and add 2 lines of double stick tape above the box and below the box. Okay, we're going to add our zipper overlay template 2 inches down and centered. Just peel off the exterior tape for now. Stick it down. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and sew around the exterior of the zipper box. We're going to pull our thread tails to the back and tie it off instead of back stitching, but it's okay if you want to back stitch too. So all the way around the perimeter, we're going to do that. Now if you're going to add a little woven tag, now is the time to do that. I'm just going to slip mine right in under here. So go ahead and stitch that around. Now you're going to want to cut out this middle portion that's inside of the stitching you just did. I like to just fold it in half and make a little starter cut. And then make sure you're not cutting your overlay, but cut out this entire middle. Take your 2 liners, and on the long edge on the right side, you're going to put a line of double stick tape. I use 1/8 inch. And lay your zipper right side up as well on top of that. Now you're going to do the same thing on the other one. Right side up. A line of tape. Now lay the other side of the zipper tape down. Right side up again. Make sure your edges line up here on the side. You can mark centers if it helps you keep everything lined up as well. I'm going to add my zipper pull on. Kind of pull it into the middle. Now get your panel and peel off the bottom tape right now. And you're going to lay this to where the zipper pull is going to the left and everything is folded up like that. This will get centered in here, okay? Just like that. This will get centered in here. You're going to stitch 1/8 inch on the left side of the box starting and going all the way down till 1/8 inch past the end of the box here. We're going to use the same stitch length that we used up here as well. Do not backstitch. Pull your thread tails 2 to the back and then we'll tie them off. Okay, now go ahead and pull down those liners and take off your second double stick tape. And then carefully just lay this down. You gotta tuck your zipper pull in. And you can see I was off here on my overlay. It's not like, it's not a big deal, but it's not totally centered. Do you see that? So I can unpick and redo it, or I can just leave it. I think in this instance, I'm just gonna leave it. So now we're gonna go ahead and top stitch starting from where we left off down here, and we're gonna go around the rest of the box. Okay, now you can go ahead and fold to the side your zipper overlay, and you're just going to stitch a box down all 4 edges here. Okay, and this is complete. We can go ahead and baste this to our exterior. Before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and attach my bag plate. So go ahead and I'm going to put some double stick tape onto my foam to hold it in place. It will end up being basted into the seams, which is what I want. I haven't attached my piping yet, so I will be doing that off screen. You can go ahead and reference the piping video if you need help with that. But before I attach my bag plate, okay, with your centers marked, go ahead and put the foam down as best you can. It should go in the seams if you're doing it the way I am. I just want to make sure the foam's attached before I put my bag plate on. Now, I have this really cool, I don't know what you would call this, like a center finder. It helps me easily find where I should be cutting my marks for my prongs for my bag plate. I got this from Carolina Little Stitches. I'll link it below, and you can order one for your own bag plate. You have to get your bag plates. I'll also have the link online where I got that, or down below where I got this online overseas. So 1.5 inches up is where I want, let's see where this ends up being. So this is 2 inches up, and I like that. Centered 2 inches up is where I will be attaching my bag plate. Look how easy this is. I just mark it in there. So it has like the center, everything's in the center. This is a 1/2 inch, so 1.5 inches plus the one right here. That's 2 inches, right? That's where this bottom will be. So I've already got where my holes can be. Before, I used to struggle so much trying to find where I was going to put my bag plate, my name plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut through the foam and the exterior. And then pop this through. And then now you see it's perfectly, it's 2 1/4. Well, you get the gist. There you go. Now we can go ahead and install it the rest of the way. I fold my prongs out because I have a wider bag plate than I do where my prongs are. My prongs aren't all the way at the outside of my logo, so ahead and cover that. And there you go. That's on the back of my bag. I probably would have liked to have had it on the front of my bag, maybe like down here, but that's kind of a lot going on, and it had already attached this, so it's fine. We're gonna put it on the back for this one. Now we're gonna go ahead and baste these together. If you're adding piping, add your piping now and then baste it together, or you can do it all at once. It's really up to you. Okay, we're gonna install the purse feet. To do that, we need to find the centers. On the wrong side, we're going to go ahead and draw a line from center mark to center mark. Now, we are going to do, from this center line, 2.5 inches to the right and 1 inch above. So 2.5 and up 1 inch and draw a line. You'll do the same thing from to the left. 1 inch up, 2.5 to the left. Okay, so now you have 2 marks like so. Repeat on the other side. Then 2.5 inches down is the center mark here. Okay, so we're going to install 5 purse feet. Go ahead and just punch holes and put them on. Okay, go ahead and draw the line at 1 inch on our D-ring connectors. Get your double stick tape and run it along the long edges. Press your long edges into that line you drew. And then we're going to top stitch down the long edges at 1/8 of an inch. So let's go ahead and fold this in half and cut that. There you go. So you don't need 2, you just need 1. Here we go. Clip those. You can sew them down to base them if you'd like. I'm just going to set these aside for later. Now we're going to take our zipper panels and get the exterior first. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can use 3/8 if you'd like. It's up to you. You may have to end up trimming the bottom gusset to fit if that's the case. So lay your zipper right side down. I'm going to add the poles at the end. Lay another row of double stick tape on top. I do not machine baste my zipper tape down. I feel like it gives a better chance for a wavy zipper if your tension's too high. I tend to keep my machine tension pretty high, so it's not for me. Go ahead and take your liner zipper panel and we're going to put that right sides down. Now you're going to sew this with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Go ahead and fold back your lining. And your exteriors, and you can clip them if you want. Go ahead and repeat that for the other side. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and attach our zipper pulls. I'm going to do a double zipper pull. You could do 1 or 2, it's up to you. one end. And two ends. Now take your D-ring connectors and line them up over the zipper. You're going to leave just a little bit. It's a 3/8 inch seam allowance, so you're going to leave just a little bit of overhang. You don't want to get too close to that hardware, but there you go. We're going to go ahead and baste these on. Let's go ahead and baste these connectors on. Okay, I cut 1/8 of an inch off of each side of these just to make it so this lines up a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and line up this side panel here, the side of the zipper gusset with the bottom gusset. I'm going to just clip it in place and it lines up perfectly. Here we go. Now, go ahead and get your interior liner and line that up along that edge as well. You're going to sew this with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. I'm going to make sure I backstitch over this middle connector here. Now, before you move on, go ahead and trim off the edges of these. Don't cut your stitches, but just trim this a little bit. It'll help with final construction. And then go ahead and repeat that same thing on the opposite side. First, we're going to top stitch. Go ahead and fold these back from the seam and top stitch over this seam. You might want to use a hump jumper if it's too thick right here for your machine, and we're going to go ahead and top stitch that. You can also put a rivet if you decided to make your connectors a little longer just to hold them in place. I didn't do that. I'm just going to top stitch. I think it'll be fine. It's not a huge bag, so there won't be that much weight in it, so go ahead and do that. Top stitch, and then we will repeat for the other side. Okay, now you're going to find the centers of both sides of the top and the bottom. You should already have the centers of your bottom, but if you didn't do that, then do it now, please. Let's do the top. Now, before we go on to finalize this bag and seal up these gussets, we need to add our poly boning to the top zipper panel. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. The bottom's fine because we have the foam and woven on the vinyl, but we're going to do the poly on the top. If you have a thinner vinyl, make sure you do some kind of interfacing up here like a woven, but this stuff is pretty rad. So we're going to go ahead and just pull it out, and you can see it basically sits right in this pocket, and I'm going to tuck it right up against where my stitches are. I don't like to leave this raw edge here. Not that it would be a problem, but just in case it is a problem, I'm just going to put a little piece of double stick tape over this raw end. Okay, and tuck it in just like that, right in the corner, and it'll shift a little when you're sewing, and that's okay. You can easily feel for it and push it back in. I'm just seeing about how long I need. I'm going to say about here. I'll measure this and tell you in 1 second here. I think that's good. Alright, so the length of poly boning for this bag at the regular size is going to be 12 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little piece of double stick tape over that raw edge of the boning on the other side. Okay. Because I used 1/2 inch, then it sticks to itself even, so it's pretty nice. And go ahead and tuck this right in here. Push it right up against your zipper. Okay. Now repeat that for the other side, and then we're gonna sew and close all of these, and then we're almost done with the bag. Okay, now we can go ahead and attach the panels, front and back panels, to the gusset ring. All you need to do is pick one. I'm gonna do the front one first because I have tons of foam. It's pretty thick. I think it'll be a little bit more difficult for me personally. So I'm gonna do this one first. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna baste it with 1/8 of an inch. Then we're gonna sew our 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. The pattern is a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So if you wanna follow the pattern, do that. I usually do a 1/4. So we're gonna do 1/8, then we're gonna do a 1/4, change to 3/8 if you're following pattern. And then what we're gonna do is attach our binding. So I'll show when we get there, but let's go ahead and clip this to the gusset and go from there. Here is the bag attached with the clips. I like to use these binder clips on thicker things. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna use my hemostats, and I'm going to baste this on an 1/8 inch seam allowance. I'll go ahead and move you around so you guys have a better view. As you can see here, I've changed to my welting foot or a piping foot. It has a channel right over here, partially on my middle toe and the outer toe, that the piping can glide through without the foot falling off on either side. This is what we're going to use to attach the piping onto this bag. I've already basted it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. It's pretty thick because I have foam in the seams, but you can kind of see in here what it's looking like. So as we're basting, we're going to be putting our gusset on the table, okay, and we're going to roll around like this. So this is going to be at my seam allowance of 1/4 inch, which is nice because it lines up right with this edge of this foot. So I will go ahead and attach it and show you how it looks. But you're going to use it just like any other foot. It just doesn't fall off the side, and the stitching should go right up next to that cord inside of your vinyl casing. I'm just going to double check, since this was so thick, that it caught everything in my seams here. Pretty sure it did, just in case. I think I'm going to have to redo. Let's see. This looks pretty good here. I got to redo this corner here. But I think it got everything else pretty well. This went off a little bit. I think I'll unpick and just scooch this in a little. You can see it's kind of opened right here. Let's see. How did this do? This looks good. So there you can kind of get an idea of what it'll look like. So we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Use your favorite binding technique if you like double fold or fold over elastic. I'm just going to use 1 inch fold over elastic and just put it on with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Probably a little less than a 1/4 inch, but I'm just trying to attach it on there. So I'm going to go ahead and bind this side and repeat to the other. So I'll see you at the end when we turn it out. Okay, now that we have both sides attached and the binding on, we can go ahead and turn it out. I like to start turning out by pushing the zipper gusset corners out. There you go. So I can feel this binding in here. I'm just going to slide it more towards my zipper. She's shiny. Okay, let's find my zipper over here. There we go. How cute is that? Now we need is a little strap. I'm gonna go grab one from another bag. I need to make a glow one. I need pumpkin faces. Whee! Cool gang. I love how puffy this is. Like, she thick, she thick, she thick. What can fit in this bag? An entire roll of piping. Yep, it's gone. Hold all my bobbins. Gone. Thread, thread, eh? Thread, thread. Gone. If you could give my video a like, it would help me a lot. Please. Please, sir, may I have a like? May I have a subscribe? Please. I could have been a contender.